I was working on some research about Kodak, the company, but then I had to do a dump run and my days just gotten so pushed back and I never finished, but I'm gonna sort of just ramble about what I've come across so far that I find interesting. Kodak as a company, I think, is often kind of thought of as this company that is a dinosaur. It was taken out, it missed the mark, which it did. But I think in a way that people aren't, myself included, aren't always thinking of. They invented the digital camera. I think that's always quoted a lot too, which they did. 1976, they invented a digital camera that took magnetized tape, like think of a cassette tape, and it printed a digital version of a black and white photo onto it. They immediately knew that this was going to be the future. They knew that this was coming. But the thing about Kodak is that they weren't so much a product company, which that digital camera was a product. They were a process company. They owned the whole pipeline of creating a photo into a print and sticking it into like a scrapbook or something. And so that was a super, super lucrative pipeline. They owned the product, they owned the Kodak camera, they owned the development process. So they owned all the chemicals, they owned all the processing labs, and they owned all this photo stock paper. They owned a lot of the products that you put this, like scrapbooks and stuff. And that was the really, really large margin. So it was a huge cash cow. They weren't gonna just roll out this product that would be a product and not a process. There's no ongoing subscription fee for a digital camera. So they weren't gonna take that out immediately. So they waited. They waited until they had no other option. They were prepared to swing the company. But what they didn't see coming is there was no distribution. Even when they came out with a digital camera, there was still the printer that was Kodak, but there was still the printing process that was Kodak. People just didn't have a place to put digital photos. But then the internet happened, which between the internet and the smartphone, suddenly photos became there was a digital purpose for them. You could send a digital photo. You could put the digital photo online, Facebook, Instagram. And so immediately there was a distribution line that cut out Kodak's process altogether, and that they just didn't see coming. And frankly, I don't think anybody did. Nobody saw the iPhone coming, nobody saw the internet coming. So it wasn't the fact that they didn't switch the product line fast enough. They just, the process pipeline they didn't see was gonna change the same way. They knew that digital cameras were gonna be a thing. They knew that they were gonna replace film, but what they didn't know is that the internet would replace physical printed copies, and that's why they filed for bankruptcy in 2012. And if I'm not mistaken, they did do some weird thing, I think in 2020, where they announced they're going to be a pharmaceutical company. I have to look into that. I'm sure that was just a way to pump their stock. They didn't fail because they didn't release the digital camera. They failed because the internet and the distribution process wiped out their service pipeline, if you will. Okay, I hope that works. I hope that does something for you.